So all organizations have got a lot of data around. So it may not be, all of the data may not. For example, there is a school. Let's say in our case, the school might have 2,000 students, but that 2,000 number is not a very big number. But when it comes to what are the like interests of the students, how much marks they have got in each subject, in each class test, in each semester, it becomes a very big data because there is a lot of variety.
Yes,
Now,
the variables and the population, when you put in all together.
yes, that's right. And we kind of are, have come up with an in-house tool to actually, we are creating a product right now. So so we would be going to the schools and we are taking the data from this continuous data, each student's result card, and we'll be giving the teachers a feedback, giving the students a different kind of feedback, and the parents also a completely different kind of a feedback. Right? So
Correct.
yeah. So I think we had initially given all this responsibility to the team of HR that we have, but then we found out that okay, it's nowhere, like these could be included in the JD of an HR, and as we tried to as we tried to come up with more roles and responsibilities, we tried to come up with a new kind of a team, and ultimately we had to come up with a data and research development team.
Right. The issue, see, this can be done by HR, right? No doubt about it. But the main issue with HR professionals, if not abroad, but I would say in India, right, is that we do get these professionals nowadays get a, a, a designation of business partner, right? But the real question is that how much they understand the business.
Exactly.
Right, and that is the reason they would not be able to justify the role or the responsibilities that have been given. That is one thing. Second thing is understanding the business deliverables. Third is aligning those deliverables to the HR interventions. And finally, getting some business results out of HR interventions. So when I see this thing in a holistic perspective, the competence of HR professionals, especially in India, is not there, to be very honest.
And it's very difficult to train also, right? I mean, usually by the term HR in India, we feel that, okay, I have to send my CV to them. And once I'm selected, like I'll have to ask them for when my salary is going to be credited. I mean, I'm just speaking on a very rough way, but on
That's okay. See, the reality is always rough and harsh.
Yes, it's in a very empirical way. That's what the concept of an HR is. But when it comes to a little bit more, if we go depth and if we see at HR responsibilities with other companies, so I got to have a chat with Eli Lilly HR and on LinkedIn, and then I was very curious about like what is your JD. So somehow the business analysis analyst role is somehow embedded in the HR role that that connection of mine was saying. So they really had a holistic approach towards HR, but somehow that's very difficult to actually bring in our country in some way or the other.
So the biggest challenge is that currently even HR, I have seen people struggling with HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP in Excel.
Yeah, that's of course there. The upskilling has not at all happened.
So that upskilling is not there. Now you can see from today's this thing that we had around 80 plus registrations, and hardly 17 have shown up, right, for a topic which is very critical for anyone in HR, I would say. Right? second thing is that one of the biggest misconception is that HR or HR analytics is more about using high-end softwares, right? So whether you are using Tableau or Power BI or R or Python kind of languages to design your softwares, right? But the thing is that what I feel is that most important is what is the logic and the reasoning that you use and how powerful is your analytical skill. That comes in first place.
That's true. Actually, Mr. Nitesh, let me tell you, um, I think all this jargon and all this ornamentation is just to like handle large amounts of data, or maybe like to showcase a little bit of talent that one person has.
Correct.
But the HR, the responsibility of an HR should be from the heart, and it from the mind as well. So
Right.
I feel that the responsibility of the HR is to connect what the clients want and what the vision and the mission of the organization is projecting. So somewhere the connection, the fine line of connection, and those threads are invisible threads. And
Correct.
since the tech team or the academic team in our case, or maybe the business development team, or maybe the sales team and the marketing team, since they are very disconnected sub organizations, they also have their own vertical, they have their own way of working. Since
Right.
they are different, there has to be something which connecting them, just like when you walk through the dark and there is a spider web, and then it suddenly comes on your face, right?
Right.
So the work of the HR team should be as nascent as that. So somewhere or the other, we should try to develop ourselves, develop our organizations, and introduce a lot of learning and development. Actually, that is one of the biggest thing that is missing. And,
On the
and
contrary, the irony is, or I would say the paradox is, that people responsible for others' development in the organization of the employees, they HR themselves are very, what you can say, uh, not enthusiastic towards their own development.
well, I won't make any comment here because but of course, like, I would not disagree with you. That's for sure. But of course, in our organization, I have seen some of the HRs taking a lot of responsibility and trying their best. But again, like, a system has both its pluses and minuses.
Right.
Again, there are a few more HRs who not really, they try to stick to certain points in their JD, saying
Correct.
that, okay, the JD says
Another
to,
issue is, Sonam, I even won't blame HR professionals per se, is that because that kind of conducive environment is also not available for many HR professionals to work freely, and means they just have fear of failures, right? And if you have these kind of environments, yes, development would definitely get hampered.
that's another true thing.
Right. So
But
thanks, Soram. Thanks for
that's
setting
more or
up
less
the
everywhere.
context for entire team over here. And on behalf of HR Gurukul, I welcome you all and thanks for participating in this workshop. So the way we have I have designed this is that we will have a look at some fundamentals of HR analytics. And here I won't be touching upon any big jargons or softwares or anything, because I think that first step is to develop an analytical mindset, and then comes the tools that used to be that you have to use. Then once you use those tools, you apply those tools, and once you apply those tools, then you get some uh, what you say, some data out of it, some insights, and based on insights, what you do about those insights and how it used for your organization's benefit, that makes more difference at certain stage, right? hold on 1 minute. Yeah. Right. So, and then we will look at some practical examples, or you can say applications of HR analytics. Now, these are not any random examples, but few of the things which I have actually done in the organization and we have got results. So I will be sharing these kind of examples, and finally, we will do some cause and effect relationship and to find out a few of the reasons for attrition. So that is going to be a practical exercise that we would be doing. So you will get exposure to at least one or two tools of analytics, and that is the way how this session is designed today. Right. So let's get started with PPT. Okay. Yeah, is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So fundamental question: what do you think is HR analytics? So I would encourage participation in this, because अगर आप ऐसे ही करते रहोगे तो फिर one-sided communication में मजा नहीं आएगा.
Okay, so I would volunteer to start.
Yes, please.
I'm Sonam, by the way. Okay, so so number one is that I need to understand that a human resource costs a lot in terms of hiring and maintaining them, and also taking responsibility of upskilling, reskilling, and their learning and development. So I need to improve my hiring, right? So that's one, kind of a requirement of the HR team. So my analytics should be, made in such a way that, like I need to understand the goals of the business. I need to collect the relevant data from the particular verticals in the organization.
Yeah.
Once we get the data, I need to obtain the particular, I need to analyze those data, keeping in context the particular domain, right? And get some insights out of that. And finally, of course, like I need to design some metrics to analyze those data and generate the insights. And finally, I need to align, try to align those, like the insights with the organization's goal, and communicate it to the appropriate teams or appropriate leaders in the organization, or the VPs or the CEO or the C-suite
Right.
members, in how how the current data that has been collected and how the analysis has been done on the data is impacting the organization. So that's maybe one sentence understanding.
Yeah, thanks Sonam for beautifully summarizing the entire crux of HR analytics, right? So so guys, yes, what Sonam has suggested or briefed us, that is what precisely HR analytics is, right? But many a times we have our cold shoulder toward development of these skill sets, but now in near future, at least I would say from 2030 onwards, it will be mandatory for HR to design these kind of interventions which are delivering business results, right? Because एक चीज fundamentally I am very much clear about it, right? Whether it is whatever the function that you are currently doing, right? Do you think a plain vanilla BCom graduate or BA graduate can do recruitment? Because if you see in the consultancy firms, right, majority of people are not MBA HR. They are plain vanilla graduates who have learned the skills over a period of 6 months, or organizing training, or distributing PMS forms, or arranging or organizing feedback forms from participants after training, right? So agar if you are doing this, if these jobs, if you are looking forward to, then I think it will be difficult for HR people to survive. That is one thing. And second thing, that if an organization is hiring a qualified MBA or master's degree holder professional, then obviously the skill sets they would expect would be different and the deliverables would be different. Would you all agree to this?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we do agree.
Right. So हमको अगर हमको लिया है तो हमको कुछ we will have to bring some skill set on the board. Correct. So keeping this context in mind, right now, let's start with what is HR analytics. So primary, as I said earlier, it is not much about numbers, as it has to do with the logic and reasoning. That is number one thing. It is an aptitude which can be developed, and it requires use of carefully constructed matrices, right? Like what Sonam mentioned, right? So we have to design those matrices, and it's not about the quantity of the data churn, it's about the logic used to link those matrices, right? So how many of you are from manufacturing units over here?
So I'm working in a manufacturing unit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also working in manufacturing industry.
Okay, great. So now when we say about, it's about using logic to link the matrices, right? So a simple example would be, I think you must have also come across this thing. Absenteeism बढ़ गया है.
Yes.
Right. So has the overtime has also increased accordingly.
Yes.
Right. So now we can say that there is a direct correlation between absenteeism and overtime.
Overtime, yes.
So many IT organizations would be facing higher attrition level at first year of the tenure of the employee. Right. So this is a major challenge. Now you have to find out basically what is the reason, how we are going to address it, what are the main pain areas, right? So maybe you may come up with that lower salary level at entry level in IT organizations is a major reason for attrition, right? So this is, I'm just giving an example that how you can link those things, right? And what kind of logics you can do. And finally, HR analytics is not about using a software tool. Please make yourself very much clear. It's not about the software, because software will process the logic which you give them, right? And for that you have programmers. So the logic which you give them, they will give the desired outcome. So garbage in, garbage out. Proper info in, proper info out. So are we clear on this?
Yeah.
Right. So the core of HR analytics is the matrices, right? So what are metrics? Anyone? We have learned somewhere in our 6th, 7th standard units and metrics. There we were using ml, liter, kilogram, right? So what are matrices? And now here we are using in HR. Fundamental remains the same. The playing field differs. Okay. So metrics can be said that the data that conveys meaning. correct? So if I say employee turnover is 18%, this is a data, correct?
Yeah.
There is a rise, 4% rise in attrition this year compared to last year. Now this becomes a metric. And when I say inappropriate leadership style of a selected manager in a particular department has resulted into higher attrition of 4% on year comparable basis, then it becomes analytics. I hope, I'm sure you must be having these kind of leaders in your departments. How many of you have these kind of issues or problems, or these kind of notorious people who are responsible for higher attrition in their organization, but just because they are very technically sound and they are important for business, you cannot do anything about them? We all must have faced these problems, right?
Yeah, we do have.
Right. So now when you statistically get these kind of insights, then then we can say that this is analytics. All right. So are we clear on data, metric and analytics?
Yeah.
All right. So if you want, I will share this presentation with you, no issues. Right. So till now, HR is all about feelings and emotion. You must have heard these kind of statements, right? HR works on the softer side of business. So how we can measure? But the fact is, analytics can be quantified and build a model and predict their behaviors. And that is what we have been doing. And decisions can be taken on experience, right? So how will algorithm take the same decision? Is it possible? Right. So we feel that analytics is done by companies having access to technological tools, right? What Sonam was mentioning, that you use technology and big data analytic tools and softwares, right? But ultimately, what logic you give them, that is more important, right? So now the question remains is that small startups or SMEs or MSMEs, right, who do not have access to those technological tools, will they be able to do HR analytics? What do you think, guys?
They can, but if they have the skill set and the will to do, of course they can.
Yes, of course, because the thing is that I always advocate, if you know your Excel very well, you can do miracles, or that much is enough. Right? So yes. Now, if you see the evolution of HR function, right? I know this is little bit, I'm going in some historical perspective, but I have to, because that will set the context. Right. So if we look into the development of HR versus time, then it started with all basic needs of payroll and administration processes, leave management. Then we went into recruitment and providing good toilets and social security and housekeeping and festival celebrations. Then we had controls of headcount, hiring, restructuring, basic reporting systems, basic measures of turnover and absenteeism. And then we entered into a growth phase, right, where we talked about process improvement, management development, leadership training, workforce planning, performance management, right? And then business partnership role, where it was more integrated with the business, where we talked about the quality of the systems, and HR become integral contribution towards the business plan, where we talk about more on ROI, that is return on investment, CBA, cost benefit analysis, intellectual and capital management of the firm or the business, and then ultimately getting into competitive advantage role, more of a, you become an internal consultant for their businesses, right? So if you see the way the function has evolved, the HR has evolved over a period of last 4 to 5 decades. And so has the matrices also evolved over a period of time. And when the matrices and the business requirements have evolved, the fundamental question remains that has HR professionals developed themselves to meet these challenges? These are, see, now onwards, I think you will get many eye-opening questions also and some eye-opening scenarios or situations also. So हो सकता है ये आपको अंदर से थोड़ा झंझोड़ के रख दे, but yes, we will have to take the bitter pill. But yes, I think, do you think you are developed enough to take up these challenges of businesses? I give you 15 seconds to just introspect and dwell upon. It is not necessary that you answer this question over here, but the question is that you answer yourself. That is more important. Right? Okay. So I hope you have answered yourself. Right. Second thing is, people go, there are some myths. People go in HR because they like people. The thing is that new realities are something different. HR, we should make people more competitive, not comfortable. We should have business impact. We should create value. And we should make employees more committed and competitive. If you are not doing this, you are just another administration guy. Nothing else. Who can be replaced at any given point of time by anyone else also. Right? Some harsh realities, but yes, we have to accept those things. Now the thing is that how we, as a normal person, we look at HR, we look at data. So there is, if I plot a graph of say abstraction versus comprehension, then what at the base level, what we look at is that data. That data sometimes get converted into information. That information, or when dots get connected, we get some knowledge out of it. When knowledge gets interpretations, meaningful interpretations or insights, then it gets converted into wisdom. Correct? So this is what our tendency is, how we look at data. And when we talk about the business value versus the complexities, right? So what happened? That is the reporting. That is the kind of MIS reporting that we are currently having, or you must be using it. You must be also doing it some analysis. Why did it happen? Why the absenteeism is so high? Why the overtime is so high? Why the attrition is there? Right. So that is something these are known as basically lag indicators, which gives you insight about the past. Right. And then you start monitoring. And then suddenly you get into a phase where you say that what will happen, and you are able to predict. So as the complexity increases, the business value also increases. So now I'm sure that majority of you would be at reporting and analysis stage. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So you must have seen about the technical HR as well as the strategic HR, right? So when we talk about technical HR of the past, decisions are not based on evidence. That is level 0 gut feeling. How many of you have heard people in HR saying that, "Oh, मेरे को gut feeling था, वो ऐसा ही होगा." In my past organization, I did similar thing in similar situation and it gave results. So here also, let's do it. I'm sure you must have heard these phrases, right? Right. So when we are at service provider level, it is more about reporting, self-service systems, data dictionaries, level 1. At business enablers, you talk about more about metric selection and impact analysis, metric standardization, internal and external benchmarking, dashboard and visual managements, right? That is metric and dashboards. That is at level 2. And then as a business partner, you talk more about strategic workforce planning, leadership continuity risk, continuity of key roles, predictive headcounts, models, predictive cost of workforce, terminations, retirements, HR linkages map, connecting HR to business, connecting HR to external data, systematic analysis of HR intervention, calculating ROI of HR interventions. So this is more at a strategic level. Right. So now you can see, or you can assess yourself that where you are in your organization at current level.
So I'm asking for that. Why you are choosing like this levels of the HRs being currently working on this?
Sorry?
And these levels are, you mentioned that some HRs in relevant starting and freshers, but some HRs based on their experience that
Right.
are going to the, you're telling that business business partner. It's an HRBP.
Yeah.
We're generally asking for the questions for all our numbers.
மலர்ந்த மலர்கள் மனம் பேசினாலும் மனமதை ரசிக்கவில்லை.
Thirumaran, can you please mute yourself or
அதுவும் சுவைக்கவில்லை.
ask somebody to stop singing, or can you move outside?
முகம் இங்கே வரவில்லை.
Sorry, I was not able to take his question, or I did not understand what he was trying to say. Right. But these are the various.
Yes, sir. I'm a little bit in a struggle with that.
Sorry?
I'm telling that some, just I'm clear that on the question.
Yeah.
Some HRs can be joined from the organization in entry level, but in a gut feelings like that. Some HRs will be going on sustaining in 2-3 or years, will be going to the next level.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling that.
Yes, but the thing is, see, basically, if the organization is having enough maturity of the data and analytics, then even a fresher will not be able to take a gut feeling decision. The system will not. The system will not allow them to take gut feeling decision. Understand this thing. But the thing is that,
sure.
but the biggest problem is that our HR heads or HR people are not developing these kind of systems.
Yeah, okay.
The thing is that I would suggest that every year your HR maturity level should increase. Point is that if you are doing currently reporting simple data, that is okay. But now, next year, you go into much more deeper levels. Develop yourself, develop the systems, and develop the HR process maturity. Point is that you have to move from one stage to another.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So earlier, it starts with basically managing headcounts, attrition, monitoring performances, requisition tracking, payroll systems, promotions, and it goes up to attrition predictions, right? So hiring high pots, their succession readiness, all these things, the matrices would increase in level of complexities. as the business value increases. So ज्यादातर हम लोग यहीं पे रह जाते हैं, attrition and headcounts and payroll reports, turnover ratios and performance tracking. We never go beyond that. The point is that if you want to add business values, you need to go beyond these things, right? So HR should know what is visualization, what are algorithms, what is predictive analysis, what is big data, who is a data scientist, and what is R and Python, right? They may not learn R and Python, but at least they should be aware of those terminologies, right? And to be very honest, HR is a very well-researched function, right? So if somebody tells me that HR mein data collect karna is a big challenge, I don't believe those things, because the tools of the psychometric tools that you have been using, FIROB or 16PF, they have been statistically validated. Now, if behavioral tools can be validated statistically, do you think it can happen without numbers? No. So the question is that सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है हमको करते नहीं आता है इसलिए नहीं हो सकता, ऐसा ये प्रॉब्लम है. How many of you agree with this statement? Right. So don't give those excuses, right? So HR analytics is current nomenclature of HR measurements and systems, right? So there was a study that was carried out of high performance work system by Mark Huselid in 1995, and he measured the 1 sigma impact of business performance due to HR policies and practices, and there he was able to give a quantitative impact as well as the qualitative impact. You know what is 1 sigma? Are you aware of sigma? Have you heard the term 6 sigma?
Yeah.
Right. So he just measure 1 sigma impact, 1 standard deviation. Right. The Gallup question. Are you aware about Q12 Gallup question, Q12 surveys?
Heard of it.
Yeah. So they have been they're set up 12 questions that predict employee engagement levels, and they have been designed after more than 35 years of research. So HR में हमारा बहुत डेटा हो सकता है, करते भी है, लेकिन शायद हमको नहीं पता. Right. So if you see this thing, what I was talking about, the 1 sigma, 1 standard deviation plus or minus, the low complexity jobs, the impact was 19%, the high complexity job were 46%, for sales it was 48 to 120% deviations on the impacts. Right? So what a superior performance is worth, that has been statistically calculated. And these companies are taking decision on that basis. Right. So if I will share one video where I've discussed and talk about this entire graph, and I have explained you the productivity value of 1 standard deviation, that is 1 sigma. Right. So I will share that video in group. So guys, are you finding this stuff boring or it's interesting?
No,
It's a
no,
new
sir.
topic.
It's interesting.
Yeah, Rajesh here.
Yeah.
This is a new learning. Few things we know and few things we are getting to know.
Yeah, good. Okay, so why HR analytics, right? So what gets measured gets managed. You talk about ROI of interventions or ROI of your training programs, of your recruitment strategies, of your OD interventions. You link businesses and HR objectives. Correct?
True.
And then you ultimately it leads to your performance improvement, right? So managing employee contribution, engagement scores, and performance prediction. These are the few of the reasons why you should be using HR analytics, or you should be aware of HR analytics. Now guys, do you think that if you are able to do these kind of things in your current organization, it will create an impact?
If
Yes, sir, sure.
if there is a need, then definitely we have to do and create our value.
Yeah.
But the management have to be acceptable to these kind of data first of all.
Yeah. And what if you make management a part of that project?
If they are convinced, I mean, we try our best to
Yeah. So
convince.
this
and,
is where your skills of creating a business case comes into picture. How many of you are aware about creating a business case?
Heard of it?
So IIM and XLRI and Tata Institute of Social Science, they fundamentally teach these things, how to create a business case. Normally tier 2 and tier 3 institutes, B schools, they never get into these things, and that is where the basic difference lies. We will talk about it later. Right, so tactical HR, journey of HR analytics, ad hoc and tactical descriptive reports, operational HR issues, strategic HR, development of people modeling, analysis of factors to understand cause-based implications, and then development of more complex models of predictive and prescriptive models, scenario building, risk analysis, and ultimately bringing HR as a profit center. So this is how the journey has started, and this is where at People Function we are currently heading towards thing. But very few organizations in India are at even People Function, or I would say strategic HR level. But majority, 90-95% of these organizations are at operational level only, where startups or manufacturing or service-based industries are currently operating. So maybe you have a good chance to create a strategic impact in your organization. That is what I can see or envision, you can see. So what problem HR analytics solves, right? So it can give you insights about how to increase or decrease, how X is related to Y, then why OT has increased, what was, is, what was, what is, what it should be or what it would be, when did it happen, how did it happen, who is doing what, where, when, why, and what if these things happens, right? So these are the few questions that typical HR analytics right would answer for you. So the skill sets, right, as I mentioned during my earlier discussion with Sonam was there, and he also mentioned the same. First is the business acumen, data analysis, relationship management, communication, consultation, HR expertise, and project management. These are the few skills you should develop as an HR analyst. Right, this will be very much essential, because business acumen, then and then only you will be able to correlate your HR KPIs and business KPIs. You should be good with data analysis. You should be good at relationship management, because you will have cross-functional teams. In that, you will have to do communications, operational communications, strategic communications. You will be more into consultative roles. And to be into consultative roles, you will have to have expertise on HR processes and system, and everything will be done as a project management. So you need to have project management skills. You need to know what are Gantt charts, what are WBS, work breakdown structures, how this project management software operates, fundamentally Kanban or any project management tool of Jira, or you can say MS Projects can help you. So going to next level will take some time, right? So now when I talk about these tools of HR analytics or lean management or design thinking or Six Sigma, right, how these tools can be applied and how it can be used for our day-to-day operations or day-to-day improvement of processes, right? So when I talk about a problem statement, one of the organization was facing major issues. HR to bhai aadmi time pe dete nahi hai, they don't provide manpower on time, they are not delivering right candidates, right? I think majority of us would be facing this issue, correct?
Yeah, sometimes
Cycle time बहुत ज्यादा है, time पे आता
Sometimes
नहीं है,
we do have.
offer लेके reject हो जाते हैं, right? So this organization was also facing the same problem. So we help them with process improvement methodologies using some design thinking, Six Sigma, lean management tools. Right, we took a systematic problem solving approach, and ultimately the result was a new process was implemented, and over a period of 6 months, we were able to achieve good result. We were able to reduce the cycle time, and we removed the non-value adding activities from the process, and hence because of that the process capability improved, right? So if I show you some data, right, then in previous stage, the earlier recruitment cycle time, you can see on your left of the screen, right? So this was the few of the operational vacancies that we're having, and this was the cycle time in days, and we took out the variance, we took out the mean, we took out the standard deviation, we took out their upper limit, the lower limit, the minimum and maximum, and we used process capability formulas, and the process capability was 0.21, right? And then after intervention, when we applied those tools and used process improvement techniques and other things, the cycle time drastically reduced. The variance you can see has reduced from 127 to 13. Right, and the standard deviation has also increased, which ultimately resulted into better process capabilities. That is, CP value increased from 0.21 to 0.68. So here we were able to prove to management that statistically the process has improved. Right, now you can see how these tools can be applied to your non-technical functions of HR also, like recruitment, or even if you want to increase the training effectiveness, or if you want to improve the performance management process. What is the effectiveness of goal setting exercise that you are having in your organization? Right, and then you can see how the process capabilities has improved over a period of 6 months. Right, so now this was practically done by me, so I can vouch for this thing, and that is the reason when I told you कि मैं कुछ भी ऐसी बात नहीं करूंगा जो मैंने खुद नहीं की है, right? So you can see how these tools can help us to improve and create a business impact. I'm sure you all must be thinking, how can we do this thing, right? But it can be done. Believe me, guys. The only thing that we need to remember is that the skill set which got you where you are currently will not get you where you want to be. There's a beautiful book written by Marshall Goldsmith. What you got here won't get you there. So if you want to reach where you want to go, the current skill set level will not help you. At different level, when you transit to a different level, then obviously it will require some different skill sets altogether. Correct?
True.
Yes, sir. Sure.
All right. Hold on 1 minute. I will just grab my water. Give me 1 minute time. Yeah. So I will share the copy of this ebook in our group, and please make sure that you imbibe this thing. The skill sets which you have brought you over here will be difficult for you to take these things further. Correct? Right. So there was another, this is another case study. Right. I will just give you the reference and give you quick background of this. There was an organization where I was working, and the Mediclaim policy was introduced for the first time. And that was way back in 2009, 2010, right? So the cycle time for processing the claim was around 129, and against the standard cycle time of 30 days. And there was urgent need to improve because it was creating a dissatisfaction among employees. And then we started and we took this process for improvement. So the objective was to measure the standard deviation and reduce the process cycle time. So the study research design. Have you guys studied research design in your MBA?
Don't recollect. It's been
Okay.
some-
So type of study, population, sampling, type of sampling,
Yeah.
right? Questionnaire designing, open-ended questionnaire, close-ended questionnaires,
Yes. Remember, recollecting.
right? Recollected now?
Mm-hmm.
All these things can be used or should be used in your HR. There is a purpose for that thing, is why that thing is there in your curriculum. But then we don't apply. That is our issue. Right? So these were the samples that we took, and then we created hypothesis. I hope you recollect hypothesis.
Yes, something where.
Null hypothesis, and we framed alternate hypothesis, and then one thing you prove right or one thing you prove wrong, and then other becomes automatically right.
Yeah.
Right. So we said that there is a significant correlation between the documentation and the Mediclaim process cycle time. So the tools and techniques which we used were the process mapping, brainstorming, fishbone diagram, Pareto analysis, standard deviation, and process capability calculations. And then we started with the brainstorming session with our entire HR team. And then we came up with the fishbone analysis, that why there is so much delay in the Mediclaim. So we used machine, measurement, man, method, and then we applied. We know that improper training of the system was one of the major issues. So when we plotted a Pareto chart, then it was contributing almost 80% to the issues, right? So when we, Pareto chart is nothing but the 80-20 principle analysis. So one reason was contributing almost 60-70%. Right. So the interventions that we started was about the policy awareness programs, awareness to posters, continuous training programs, PPT presentations, continuous communication on case-to-case basis. And then there was a mass communication about the awareness. Workers were not aware about the processes or the documentations. Right. So we made some local language in presentations, and then we gave them, and then slowly and gradually the document awareness increased, and that resulted into reduction in process cycle time. And there was suddenly, then after 2-3 months, there was sudden reduction in cycle time, right? And high morale reflected from the workers' behavior, right? So if I show you graphically, right, then you can see from 129 days we have been able to reduce to 31 days in period of almost 6 months. And the standard deviation has also reduced from 88.72 to 5.67. Correct? So now when we look into the process capabilities, so CP value has increased from 0.06 to 0.9. Right. And then we talk about when we take out the sigma level, then you will get that process was improved up to 4.5 sigma level. Right. So the further action was to make it more sustainable, to reach up to process capability of 1.67, that is a 5 sigma process. Pre-claim counseling and all these things were introduced, and ultimately when we were able to get good results. So the benefit administration cost was 119%. So the claim benefit which we did was much more higher than the medical premium which we paid, right? So that is what has led to improvement. So friends, now I am Nitesh Sawant. I just started my career with Jubilant Organosis, worked with Aditya Birla, groups like Adani, and my last assignment was with Panasonic. And before starting my organization of skill development startup, I was with Panasonic, and where we practically did all this project that what I have shared with you, right? So now, are we ready to get our fishbone analysis, one of the tool of HR analytics? Should we do it
Yes,
for
sir.
attrition?
It will be a new learning.
Yeah, so let's
Yes,
do
sir.
it. Wait a minute, I will just share my screen. So this is, so my screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I will just zoom in, but I just wanted to show you the entire diagram, so I have zoomed out. The thing is that you write a problem statement, and this is known as Ishikawa diagram or fishbone analysis, right? So normally it has this wings kind of thing which you are seeing are the bigger bones, and the regions which you have under them are the smaller bones. And as it resembles a fish, that is the reason it is known as fishbone analysis. So the first thing, you write various factors that are responsible in each of the bigger wings, and then you can again bifurcate or cascade down into smaller issues, right? So when we talk about attrition analysis, so normally standard is that there are some methods, materials, measurements, environment, manpower, and machine. So these are the few of the major things that are responsible, or you can say cause and effect relationship. So now when we say that we have higher attrition as an issue, then what are the major possible reasons at a very broad level? So if I have to write something at a very broad level, what it can be? To give you one head start, I will say,
A salary issue.
okay, can salary issue come into another on superset?
The working hour.
Work environment issues? Then what can be the next? Management problems? Now tell me what can be other issues.
Rewards and recognition.
Okay, so compensation management.
Yeah.
So compensation, yes. Then career growth.
Career growth is also one of the important causes why many people quit.
Yeah. Career growth. And then Maybe some personal issues.
Yes, yes. Personal family issues are also sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So work environment issues, what can be the possible reasons that you can mention, any candidate can mention in his exit interview?
Some person mentioned as a personal issues, some persons mentioned as a medical issues,
Sorry?
some person, some
Work
persons mentioned as personal and medical issues.
Yeah,
Work
we are talking about work environment issues. What can be the issues?
and attribute to certain minimum standard of facilities that are to be provided.
Okay.
For example, though I'm not from the factory and manufacturing
No,
side,
that's
but
okay. That it doesn't matter whether it is factory or startup or any service industry or whatever. So facilities.
yes, supposedly some people are working at site level at the project site.
Yeah.
Basic thing is water and safety devices like safety
Okay.
boots,
So inadequate support services.
inadequate facilities.
Yeah, inadequate facilities. Okay. Then
Workforce,
problem with co-workers.
yeah,
Problem with yes, could be.
And if it is issue with co-worker, then it can be issue with boss also.
At times, yes. Issues
Come on,
with-
guys. Other वो बाकी के लोगों जागो. What else?
and then overtime,
Sorry.
overtime. He's saying overtime.
work duration.
Overtime. Okay. No role clarity.
One of the major issues. One of the major issues in organization.
Maybe lack of SOPs,
SOPs. Could
work
be.
standards,
Yes, yes.
right? Then what could be management issues? No direction.
No proper direction. Yes.
Then
Even mentoring is also an issue these days. No proper mentoring. Some people want to learn and grow.
that we can, I think, Rajesh, we can cover in career growth.
Career growth is the appropriate terminology.
Yeah. So if we look into career growth, so no mentoring.
Mentoring.
Then what could be in management, top management or management issues? No direction, unclear policies.
And no policies for particular
So we
subject.
can keep no or unclear.
Unclear would be
No
Some persons-
undefined policy.
undefined policies, correct.
Right. Then what else?
Undefined policies.
Maybe bias decisions.
Decisions sometimes hastily they take decisions without assessing the realities. Sometimes what happens is decisions are taken
Correct.
without assessing the ground realities. It's a big time problem.
Yeah. And what else can be? क्या आप लोग सब लोग क्या मैनेजमेंट को क्या गालियां देते हैं ये बताओ. They don't communicate.
Communication gap. That is communication gap. Then lack
One
of
of the
proper
major
delegation.
issue, no transparency,
No transparency, lack of delegation.
Diplomatic.
lack of delegation.
Lack of delegation is also another major issue.
Okay. Okay, now let's move to another boon, that is career growth. One, we have mentoring, no development.
एनालिटिक्स 8 बजे शुरू हुआ है
Learning intervention is limited.
So limited learning,
Limited learning intervention is limited.
lack of growth opportunity,
Lack of growth because of
no new assignments or
internal.
no challenging assignments kind of thing.
Challenging is something.
Okay, let's keep this much in this thing. What could be lower compensation bands?
Poor reward system.
Yes, poor reward system.
Some organization only believe in extracting works. So
Yes,
the reward system is not appropriate. So
correct. Or maybe not at par with market.
Market standards, sometimes yes.
What else? Low increments.
Last 2 years has been very difficult for many of people.
Correct.
With the plea that COVID is going on, so.
Yeah, under name of COVID, बहुत कुछ कर लिया है. Okay, what are the other issues? Excess traveling.
Yeah, traveling is also
Okay,
sometimes.
let's take at personal issues. So one is major moving to hometown.
Moving nearby, choosing a job location near to hometown is one.
Yeah.
2 is internal
Getting
conflict. Getting
married and living.
Getting married.
Laws and this thing, in laws not permitting, something like that.
Internal conflicts.
Okay.
Internal.
So interpersonal relation issues.
Interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationship.
Then. Okay, this much is enough for other. What can be other? Excess travel. Then hostile environment.
Hostile. It could be something like.
Hostel and food.
Sorry.
Hostel and food. Food also, some industrial type will be difficult. Not quality food given.
That is facilities. That is coming under facilities.
That comes under facilities. Too much work pressure.
Work pressure is also here. Correct.
Correct. Right. So now I think we have fair enough data to think upon or ponder upon. Right. Now, guys, what you need to do is that once you have done this kind of analysis, right, then we will have to find out the frequency. Correct. So how many of have mentioned that because of some personal reason they are leaving, or many times it is also quite possible that during exit interview they may not reveal the exact reason, but then over a cup of tea outside the organization, अरे यार ये तो ऐसा था इसलिए मैं छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ, वो तो उधर तो मैं HR को तो कुछ भी बोल दिया. Correct?
Some people, 100% nobody reveals the real fact. But
Right.
yes,
But then
50,
we should have those competencies. We should have those competencies to bring out the exact reasons. Correct. So lack of growth, lack of limited learning. So now once you get these reasons on hand, right? What we need to do is that we need to create a frequency chart. You know how to create a frequency chart? So how many number of people have said inadequate facility or issues with boss or overtime is an issue or no role clarity?
Going back to basic, I think it's mean, median, mode.
Yes. Absolutely correct. Right. So once you get that data, once you get that frequency data, you can apply that mean, median, mode, and other tools of HR. Right. You can do Pareto analysis out of it, and then you will come to know that which reason is majorly contributing for the attrition. Right. So once you get a frequency, then for example, say that we get a majority that because of the low salary bands, we have got an issue that people are leaving. So now,
And then low.
Sorry.
And then low increment also.
Yeah. Let us take only one reason, that low salary is one of the major issues that has been contributing maximum. Now, once you know that, now the thing is that you have data, you have matrices, you have analytics also now. Now you need to design an intervention that how you are going to tackle this issue. Correct?
Yeah.
So now tell me what you will do. So if low salary bands or low is not at par with market, the salaries are not at par with market, what you will do? 3 steps. Give me 3 steps.
We have to take some initiative to do some corrections, at least not at a single go. Maybe it takes some time to convince the management and
Discussion. Yeah, that's right. Actually,
market correction is a mandatory thing over here.
some management not accepting that as per market rates. You have two profitable minds.
So what you will do?
Yeah, you will do
Market
the
sir.
salary benchmarking.
Yes.
Salary benchmarking with the value addition or value creation that they are doing for the organization with justification.
Right.
Correct. So how many of you can read salary surveys, wage surveys?
Salary survey, we have to follow the Nelson or some kind of ADP data.
Hay Group or Mercer?
Yeah.
Right. So what
We
is
cannot
the
compare
75th
those.
percentile and where you go and what are the gaps? And then what is the median of industry, of geography?
Yeah.
So you will ask Mercer, if you ask Mercer, then what you will ask them? He says, I have pan India data. You tell me what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will first ask for industry.
Type of industry.
Say
we are
first
into.
you will ask for sector. Then you will ask for
Sector.
industry. Then you will ask for geography, that is location.
Location, correct.
Right. So say in South India, in IT industry, in startup, for a programmer or a developer, what is the starting package or starting salary and what is the median salary?
Correct.
right? Then they will give you some numbers, they will give you some data, they will give you some graphs, and then you will have to compare it with your current standards, and then you will have to come up with delta. This is the difference between our package, our CTCs, our salary bands, and the compensation that has been provided in market. Now there is a difference of this much amount. And now the thing is that once you have that gap, then you will have to design a strategy that over a period of 3 years, how we are going to close this gap. Immediately to koi bhi utna paisa dega nahi na, because it would be millions of dollar impact. So you will have to create a mitigation plan, that how we are going to take into consideration or how we are going to move towards the average if you are below the average. Now this is kind of business case you need to create and present it to management, and then give them an execution plan and get approvals.
Moreover, the budgeting factors or the forecasting is also important.
Yes. So
If
all
you do
these
it in
things
the
will
middle of
get
the
into
year,
consideration.
if you do the same exercise in the middle of the year, certainly it will not get finalized immediately. So they would say that we would make some provision in the coming year.
Right. And then what Sonam has mentioned, employee thinks that they are not getting enough salary. Yes. So be transparent and show them that yes, you are not getting salary, but we are improving and we would be increasing over a period of time. Immediately nahi hoga. So that will help you to build trust, and it will definitely impact your attrition levels. Right.
Yeah, to an extent, yes.
Right.
Sir, I am asking one question for that. Sorry for the interrupt.
Yeah.
Yes, some manufacturing company will given that this measurement of your compensation with other companies and then sector based on that. That service industries, how it will be solved from that we are exposed to them, our managements, but we are service industry based on that companies, how it will be solved for that salary.
I mean, so you will get reports from Mercer or wage survey reports for all this industry and sectors.
Yeah, okay.
So if you ask for banking, if you ask for ITES, you will get those data. You will ask for non-banking financial institutes, then also you will get data. Not only manufacturing.
I think ADP also publishes some kind of data.
Yes.
In India, ADP.
तो लगता है ना भाई ऐसा काम करेंगे तो मजा आएगा फिर.
होता है कभी-कभी. Given an opportunity, definitely we should try to utilize.
Correct. So I will share this Excel sheet in the group also. Right. So the question is now, yes. What further? So what you guys would be doing now onwards? Because the key to development of yourself is lying with you. So you have to launch yourself, and that efforts can only be done by you. So make sure you are ready for the transformation that you are looking forward to. right? So we क्या करना चाहिए आगे? What should be the way forward?
Accepting change,
Okay.
which is reality, and moving with it.
You have to motivate yourself.
What else?
To upgrade ourselves.
Okay.
Learning new skills, which are the future needs or future requirements, or trying to understand at least the basics of those future trends, like your
Get at least clear with the fundamentals.
basic fundamentals has to be clear. Like we are getting some support from you today. What is HR analytics?
Sorry.
The support we are getting from you in terms of your knowledge sharing
Yeah.
today. So we are now to a lot of extent now clear that what is HR analytics all about.
Correct. Do you want me to help you?
In terms of analytics, HR analytics?
Yes.
Yes, certainly, but I will connect offline.
Sure. So what I'm doing is today, so is my screen visible to you?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what I'm doing today is that I have my signature program of HR analytics, which is of almost 40 hours and covers entire thing of HR analytics, what you need to know and how you should proceed, what kind of project you should take and how you will get benefited out of it. So it has practical exercises. You will learn all those areas of lean management, employee data, metric. I have in this program, I have shared around 50 matrices along with formulas. More than 7 to 8 HR analytics and Six Sigma tools. You can download the curriculum from here. And these are some feedbacks from LinkedIn, who are in past my students, those who are working with TIS or Tata or Torrent and Abbott and KPMG and Mahindra. Previously, students have worked to done certificate programs with me. And this is the kind of certification you will get. And few of the testimonials of students. And this program I'm offering you today at just 1,999. You will get access to more than 20 lectures and plus how to design HR dashboards, all the tools and techniques of HR analytics. After doing this program, you will be able to do all those things which I have showed you in the presentation. And it comes with 7-day money back guarantee. If you don't like the program, we return your money back. The reason why I'm giving this at only 1,999 or say 2,000 rupees is that I want you to take action, to start learning and start developing yourself, because the curriculum which I have used is from IIM Rohtak. Normally what I do is that I take curriculums from top B schools, convert them into a layman's language and deliver it, so that those people who do not get access to these top B schools just because of the fact that they were not able to clear CAT, or they cannot afford a 4 lakh, 5 lakh, or even say 1.5 lakh courses. For them, this would definitely benefit. Forum, it is not going to be a weekend batch. It is a self-paced learning course. You can take this course at your time.
Is it like something like online lectures whenever available? I mean, whenever I'm available, I have to just listen.
Yes, you can access them.
Okay. And in case of any doubts or something, then how do we do?
You will be part of a group where we will help you.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
The thing is that I want to initiate maximum number of people into these skill sets. That is the
And
only
then
reason.
what are the certificates you have to,
Sorry?
what are the certification will be completed?
See, to
You
be very
will be
honest, I
provide.
don't believe in certification, but if you want, you will get the certificate. The issue is that here you will have to take a live project in your organization and follow the step-by-step methodology.
But some organization not believe in that words.
Sorry?
They are believing that certificates only. Some organization not believe in their words. They are believing the documents.
Dinesh, your voice is not clear.
So some of organizations not believe their knowledge and then that words. Actually, their documents will be support them. That evidence of documents.
Yeah, if you want, you will get certificate. I showed you the sample.
So I would like to know, would there be videos or would it be just online thing?
Means it would be videos. The
Okay,
kind
so
of
that
session
means,
we had, the kind of session we had,
okay,
and we have recorded this session, right?
okay, yeah, right.
So similar interactive sessions are there.
Okay,
Where we have taken live projects and the entire sessions have been discussing the live projects.
okay. So obviously that means that, that video will be with me forever. Like, whenever I want to go through it.
Yes. Self-paced means you will get access, you will be able to access whenever you want.
Okay, fine. All right.
It will be download or else you will be given the access.
You will get access, videos cannot be downloaded. The material and the files and formats you will be able to download.
Sir, I would be interested. Can you share details?
I will share the link in our WhatsApp group.
Okay, fine.